Hey gamers, what's up and welcome to Gamer Life. On today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at Cthulhu Wars. Cthulhu Wars is a 3 to 4 player light war game / area control game. It takes about 60 minutes to about an hour and a half. So let's check it out and I'll tell you what I think. So here is Cthulhu Wars. As you can tell, there's a lot of stuff that comes with this game. It takes up a good portion of my dining room table. So let me take a closer look for you guys. Move the camera up in a little bit closer. Now the first thing, as you can tell, the components for this game is quite grand. The highlight of the show is the models. You can see right there, all very large, just so you can get a good scale. Here's a sports drink bottle. That's how large these figures are. So as you can tell, they are quite large. Let's take a look at one of these. These are one of the great old ones. This is the I can't remember his name, Hasor, I'm probably butchering that, but as you can tell, it's quite large. It fits my whole hand. So like I was saying, Cthulhu Wars is a light war game / area control game. So players will be trying to earn victory points throughout the game to achieve dominance throughout the land. So how you win Cthulhu Wars is by earning Doom points. You keep track of every player's Doom track on the Doom chart right here. You gain 1 Doom point for each gate you control, which are these things here. You control the gate by having it on any spot on the board and having one of your cultists. All the cultists from all the factions are the same. It's just a different color for the mold. I mean, sorry, just a different color. The mold is the same. So when you have a gate controlled by a cultist, for each gate you control, you will earn 1 point. After that, you will in turn order, you will have a chance to purchase more points on the Doom tracker. Now, this is the tracker here for the 4-player game. You're gonna have a little marker here. I know this marker is way too large for this board. That number there is how much power you must pay. Power is a currency in this game. You use power to purchase to do the ritual track, to purchase units, to move units, to buy units. Power is the main currency in the game. So you can also buy more victory points based on the level of the ritual track. You will gain victory points equal to this. You gain the same number of victory points as you did earlier. So if you gain 3 points from having 3 control gates, you gain another 3 plus 1 for each ancient one you control. The ancient ones are the large figures here. And then you will then increase the ritual track 1 step further. If the ritual track reaches instant death, or if anybody has gotten 30 Doom points, the game ends, and who has the most points is the winner. But there's a catch. On each player board, there are 4 player boards. Each player board has rooms for spell books. For a player to win, they must have completed each one of the spell books. So all 6 spell books must be completed, and each faction has their own ways of completing a spell book. For example, the Black Goat, they have to have units in 4 areas, 6 areas, 8 areas, and so on. While the Yellow King, you have to first awaken the Yellow King, and so on and so forth. And that is how you win Cthulhu Wars. Now, Cthulhu Wars plays over a set number of rounds. Pretty much the turn sequence is you will gain power, determine first player, you then do the Doom phase, which you'll earn your Doom points, go through the ritual track, and then you have your action phase. Now you gain 1 power point for each cultist you control. For each, you get 2 points for each gate you control. Now if there's a gate built on the board and it doesn't have control and no one owns control of it, then you'll gain a point for everybody. Also, you get a point for each cultist of the other players that you control. If you captured another player's cultist, you will then sacrifice it, give it back to that player, and you'll get an additional power for that. The person who has the most power every round will be the start player, and that player will determine the order of play, if they want to go clockwise or counterclockwise. And everybody will then in turn take 1 action. The actions they can do is build a gate. They can build a gate for 3 power points. They can move 1 unit. Pretty much they choose an area and they move all the units inside there to any adjacent unit to any adjacent area for 1 point per unit. They can recruit a cultist, recruit any creatures that they have. Each creature has their own cost. Now I don't know if you can see that right there. All cultists cost 1, but each of the different monsters and great all ones cost have a different amount. You can summon 1 per turn, one per action phase. And then after that, once all players have passed, it'll then go back into the next round within the next round of the game, which will then gather power, determine first player, go through the Doom track, and go back to the action phase. One neat thing to add is if any player has less than half power than the player who earned the most that turn, they will get half. So one player, if somehow they got a bad round, they only have 5 power, and one player gained 30, that player will then gain 15 power instead of only 5. So let's talk about combat real quick. Now, if you see that right there, the combat value for each unit is listed here. Obviously, acolytes don't have any power, have any combat. They're just there to fight. Whatever that number is there, you will roll that many dice. On a 1, 2, or 3, nothing happens. On a 4 or a 5, you inflict what they call a pain, in which one enemy unit of their choice has to leave the area. And on a 6, you kill a unit. So death only happens on a 6. But with some of the great old ones, you will be rolling a handful of dice. So you will get some kills, but not as much kills as you would in, say, a regular war game. This is more about controlling the gates. So let's talk about Cthulhu Wars. Now, one thing I forgot to mention was when you perform a ritual of annihilation and pretty much gain double your doom points, you also get one of these elder signs. They're numbered 1, 2, or 3, and you just draw them face down from the bag or whatever thing you want to keep them in. These are worth victory points also at the end of the game, and they're hidden. But what you can do is you can reveal them and try to gain victory during the action phase instead of waiting for everybody to do theirs on the ritual phase. So you can try sneak in a victory. Excuse me. So let's first talk about the components. They are gorgeous. As you can see, these models are beautiful. I've seen some of them painted before. They are truly nice. Very heavy plastic. The insert for this game is the best I've ever seen. I have it down here. This is hard plastic. I have never seen an insert like this. It's almost a shame, because if they come out with expansions, I would want to put all my expansions inside one box, and this insert would have to go. And it's a crying shame, because this is a really nice insert, and it holds the models quite snug inside there, as you can see. Now, I like this game. This game has a nice area control, light war game to it. Just like other games in this genre, like Kemet and Nexus Ops, you can't sit there. You have to go out there and you have to build those gates and hold them, or you can go try taking them from other people too, so you can get victory points and try get one good round, and then you get like 5 or 6 victory points in one turn, and then you do the ritual annihilation and get you another 6 points. That's 12 points in one turn, which is a good chunk of points, because once the game hits 30, the game ends. I also like how unique each of the factions feel. Like the Black Goat, they really have to rush out there and take as much area as possible so they can get their spell books. While the Yellow Sign, they go around and they pretty much taint the land. And they have other special abilities, because the Yellow King doesn't fight, but he goes around and he taints the land, and he gets you more Elder Signs. So he's going around destroying the world and getting you more points. And so and each of the factions has a very unique feel, like Cthulhu himself. Cthulhu is a giant fish head. He just likes to hang out in the water a lot. So I like how each unique faction feels and how they play differently. But there's a problem. Now, this shouldn't really have a big effect on this game, but it is a problem for this game, and that is its price tag. MSRP is $200. Let me repeat myself, $200. That's a good chunk of change. This is my most expensive board game I have ever bought. I didn't spend $200. I spent a little bit less than that, but it is still the most expensive board game I've ever bought. And because of that steep price tag, I don't know if this game is worth it. It's a good game, but there are other games out there that give you the same feel for less money. Like I said, Nexus Ops and Kemet give you that same feel. And if you want to spend $200, go buy Twilight Imperium and both expansions, and that right there is $200. And that is a much better game than this. True, there are different games, a lot of things differently, do things differently, but $200 is $200. That is a good chunk of change. And they are going to come out with some more expandable factions, which I believe are going to cost $60 a piece also. So I'm going to have to look at whether or not I want to pick up those also. And even though the plastic units are good quality, the cardstock they use for some of this is not the best. I don't know if you can see it too good here. It's starting to chip a little bit. Even the player boards also come with the same level, with the same quality cardboard, so the edges are beginning to wear a little bit. So I cannot wholeheartedly recommend this game, mainly because of the ridiculous price tag. Now, if you know somebody that has it, go ahead and try the game out. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to play because they're going to want to get their money's worth out of this game. But for everybody else, you're going to have to try it. It's that $200 is a hard pill to swallow. So that wraps up my review of Cthulhu Wars. Thanks for watching, and remember, I believe there is a game for everyone.